Namaste, my friend. Today we are going to talk and understand the goal of life and goals in life. So, when the destination is clear, when the goal is clear, 50%, I would say 50% of the anxiety, duality, and a conflict are clear. We go to the mall or store. We talk to people. We don't have any intention. We don't have a goal to fight with anyone. Our goal is not to be angry to anyone. But then what happens? Our mind creates likes and dislikes, agreement and disagreement, and then we are gone. That is why the goal should be clear. You ask the plumber to fix your restroom and then you get upset. Why? Because he has not done the work. But to get upset was not the part of the goal in your life. To talk to the David, to communicate to the David, to convey him the message was the goal, but I get upset. That was not the part of my destination. But why I get upset? There are many things in the world that is not complete. Even we do not complete sometime what we decide, and still we get upset. But that is not the part of the goal. So we have to understand the role of the mind and the intellect in living our day to day life. A girl married a blind man. After a few days, the girl could not bear the pain because her husband was blind. So she also covered her eyes with the clothes and started acting like a blind. Is this the solution in life? Why she did this? At least the blind man, since birth, have learned to work, to act daily in the life, but she deliberately became blind and she had to learn. And if she has to learn, she has to follow her husband, even though she is capable. That is what happens between the mind and the intellect. Mind is a blind man and a girl who became blind, but not blind due to due to her husband. It was her own choosing. Our intellect becomes blind, choosing the mind and its ways of the mind. Cause of anxiety, duality, conflict, depression, tension. So I have to understand it. I have to live my life with wisdom, with understanding. If it is not, so our master says that the mind and intellect both are in us. Mind imagines, tricks, distracts, reacts, angers, anxious, misleads, impulsive. It is like a bacteria. Breaks, weakens, goes for instant pleasure and pain. Intellect always like to see what is right, what is truth, what is good in life, keeps focus, it builds blocks to live our life in peace and happiness, gives strength, and takes our entire life to a point of celebration. Intellect can guide if the mind is blind. Both are within us. Mind bluffs. And mind bluffs and causes the anxiety. Mind bluffs causes the fear. Mind bluffs and claims to go to run after what we like and what is pleasant for us. It does not want to see the truth if the happiness is there in that situation, in that relationship, in that people or not. And a simple line solution. We do it every day. When you are driving, mind is distracted and the intellect brings the mind back. Come on, you're driving. Mind goes into anxiety. Let the intellect guide. Come on, return. Why you are looking for anxiety? It is not there. Intellect is capable. Everyone's intellect is capable. Especially I'm talking of the human. But what happens? Mind says I'm blind and I'm right. Intellect says, okay, I will follow you. So mind says you are in anxiety. Intellect says you are right, boss. That is what happens. That's another way to see, another way to perceive, another way to understand. Our goal, or the goal of the Eastern wisdom, to bring an end to the suffering and awaken to that inner peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. We have millions and trillions of desires in human life. So, Eastern wisdom says, can you categorize trillions of desires into 4 categories? Listen to it again and again, assimilate and digest. There are only 4 desires, 4 goals. Do you want to eat for 24 hours? No. Do you want to sit to watch TV 24 hours? No. Well, there is a starting point, there is a finishing point. Do you want peace 24 hours? Yes. Do you want to be happy 24 by 7? Yes. Do you want to be happy and in peace at all time, in all locations, with everyone? Yes. Look at 2 desires. I don't want to eat 24 by 7. I don't want to sleep 24 by 7. Ah, you see that Eastern wisdom, these masters had a very deep understanding, very keen perception, a very deeper insight. And they say all the desires that you have, that humans have, can be categorized into four. So once we are clear, once we are 100% clear, here are the four desires. Do you desire to be angry on someone? No. But then why I become upset? Do you want to be anxious tomorrow? No. So if I understand that there are only four desires, to become angry is not a worth in relationship. To get into anxiety is not worthy of a human life. No, no, just tell me all the four goals, desires, we can categorize them. That is what we are learning. And it demands an understanding. It does not demand, first, it demands an understanding, then you live with the four. So your mind does not go, your mind does not wander to those issues and the challenges that is causing anxiety, duality, conflict. They are known as purushartha. Purushartha. Be very clear that some desires, or I would say majority of the desires, have a starting point and the finishing point. Waking, sleeping, dream. We cannot do 24 by 7. Eating, 24 by 7, not possible. What we cannot do 24 by 7 is not me, is not mine. Can you become aware? Can you remain in anxiety 24 by 7? Can you be angry 24 by 7? No. So, can you just become aware at that moment and say, oh, this is not me and mine, and then see what happens? Eating, drinking, shower, talking, walking, check any activity in the life that we cannot do 24 by 7. They are the goals in life. We'll talk, we'll understand in detail. So now we are understanding what is goal in life. How many goals in life? What is the goal of life? And how many goals of life? So when we say the goals in life, it means that in life is a part. Is a part. Sleeping, waking, dreaming, taking shower, talking to someone, drinking, eating, part. It has a starting and the finishing point, but the goal of life, no starting, no finishing point. It has to be 24 by 7. That is what we understood just now. Huh? We understood just now, yes. Do you want peace 24 by 7? Yes. Happiness? Yes. Do you want to eat 24 by 7? No. Do you want to make an effort 24 by 7? No. Do you want to work 24 by 7? No. It should be high. It should have a starting point. It should have a finishing point. So once we understand, that means if the goal of life is 24 by 7, if it is, if peace and happiness should remain 24/7. If that is our desire, it cannot happen if it is not my essential nature. What is essential? Essential means I am made up of peace and happiness. Then only I can have that goal of life. Are you getting it? Very simple. Goals in life that cannot remain 24/7. It has a starting point, it has a finishing point. Think what I want 24/7: peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. What I want, which has a starting point and a finishing point, I feel hungry, so I have a starting point to eat, and then I should finish. I should not continue eating. But if the mind is blind, I just initially explained you, and the intellect says, okay, if you are blind, then what should we do? Then we have anxiety, we become glutton, we then binge eating starts. Huh? Not only that, my friend. Yesterday you were upset with someone. Mind says, today also you are upset. Unnecessary, unwanted, unwelcome. So when I am clear about the goals in life and the goals of life, Purushartha, it is known as Purushartha. Normal translation, goals. You see the perception, the deep insight of our masters says that we have millions and trillions of desires in the life. You can categorize them into 4 categories. But before we go deeper, just understand what are the immediate goals. Immediate goals: I'm hungry, I want food. I feel sleepy, I want to sleep. No, let us expand that. Immediate goals are wealth, pleasure, regulate your life. So these goals in life are 3. And there is only one goal of life. 3 goals in life: keep your mind steady by an intellect. 3 goals in life. 4th is the goal of life: hunger, thirst, sleep, work. We need to organize. It has a starting point, it has a finishing point. For example, you work maybe for 10 to 3, that's all. So you are conscious, you're mindful of your work, you work for 10 to 3, and you work in a way so that you are happy to work. And after 3, you are free. Don't carry the hangovers of the work. Same thing. If we want to sleep, starting point, finishing point. And we should know how to sleep soundly, so that we are not frustrated, we don't have fear, we don't have anxiety, we don't have duality, we don't have conflict. We don't have any confusion. And what is the 4th goal of life? Fourth is the goal of life. First three are the goals in life. That I'm going to, we are understanding that. But what is the fourth goal of life? Fourth goal of life is the ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal? Total end of suffering and awakening to peace and happiness, love and wisdom. Do you ever think of the fourth goal before learning the Eastern wisdom? And that's why people say, "Oh, what a crazy guy you are! You're talking the pieces. You're essential." We, it never comes to our mind. Our masters, when our masters has taught us, and I am passing on that wisdom to you, then you say, "Oh, can I find and discover peace and happiness within?" Otherwise, we take it for granted. We have lot of money, it will bring happiness. I have a sexual pleasure, it will give me happiness. I have gone on vacation, it will bring happiness. Where it is not. The story of a blind man married, and a girl also started acting like a blind. This is what happens in our life. Can animals choose these goals? No, they cannot. They have a low, or you can say they have an animal mind. They cannot think and reflect through their intellect. That's why I gave you the story of the mind and the intellect. They cannot choose. They cannot think, so they cannot choose these four goals of life. That's why the dog remains. Your pet remains the pet throughout his life. The dog remains the dog. The cat remains the cat. The bird remains the bird. But as a human being, we can change completely. So our master gives a deep insight that we have to choose these four goals, three goals in life and one goal of life. We need to know. Because knowledge is power. So when I know it clearly, then I know what I'm going to do tomorrow in the morning until evening. So our mind is refined, our mind is guided by the intellect, and then the mind realizes I have to get this thing done by this plumber. But if the plumber does not do it, let me see what is the best way to get it done. But I don't create unconscious, habitual, impulsive goal. If the plumber is not doing the work, I should get upset. Don't I have any other option? Yes, I have an option. So we need to know, we need to think, we need to choose. We cannot live the same life again and again, otherwise, we have been upset over people for days, weeks, months, again and again, and we feel, oh, the world is like this. No, my mind is like this. I have not chosen. So the Eastern wisdom it helps us to understand freedom from the anxiety, duality, because I have not chosen them. How dare they can come? So I'm responsible for myself. What do you mean by responsibility? To move with an affection. Move with an affection to the world outside, with the clarity and the wisdom to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So I gave a brief introduction. We will be very clear about these three goals. So our master says that if the intellect, you put the intellect into service, you think you are clear about the three goals in life and one goal of life, and you put the intellect into service. And if the intellect is put into service, that is 100% you are living wisely. There is no chance, there is no opportunity, there is nothing that can make you anxious and confused. Is it so? Yes, it's a fact. But if the intellect is put into service, maybe 75%. So, what is that 25%? What is left? That you have left for the mind. So, what the mind does, mind becomes emotional, impulsive, and instinctive. Then I'm responsible for my anxiety and duality. And if we 50% of the intellect is put into this service, then 50% goes to the mind. Blind man. So, can the blind man show me the way? So, that blindness is nothing but the forgetfulness and constantly, you can say, the obsessive mind. And if 25% of the intellect is put into the service and 75% is mind, it is constantly wandering. It is not clear about the goal and the effort that we put. And if 0%, that is a non seeker, that is all about the animal. 0% means the intellect, we are not clear about what we are doing, why we are earning, how we are earning. So, but why the mind is not living? It's blind. So, when I follow the blind mind, I am not living wisely. When I'm not living wisely, then I invite those events, those thoughts, and the feeling that causes the anxiety, duality, conflict, confusion. Then I start blaming and complaining and reacting to the outer situation, people. Then the desire and the delusion, strong likes and dislikes, they keep on returning to my mind. Intellect already follows the blind mind. No, no, but answer me why I follow the mind, not the intellect. Intellect means thinking, observing, choice, and once we are clear what I'm going to do. To give you an example of a planner, you invite. So your invitation to fix something is to get the things done. Did you intend to have an anxiety or getting upset if he does not do the work? No, no, it's natural. Wait, how come it is natural? You invited him, but then you realize he is not capable of doing the work. His capacity is limited. So why I should be angry because his capacity is limited and he cannot do it? He did the thing wrong. Or even if he has the capacity, appreciate him, done. The intellect is not available. So if I get upset, it means the intellect is not available when I am living my life, or we can say we are not living our life wisely. Why it is not available? Because I do not think. I take it for granted. The way the animals are living. So, what is the solution? Allow the intellect to be available by practice, and that is the method from where the self inquiry begins. Who I am. I am peace. Outer situation is different. Outer situation, person, time are independent of me. They are not me and mine. Why am I worthy of suffering that is not me and mine? Answer is no. That is chosen, that is understood by the intellect. And you're free. When you are free, there and then. So, our master explains this differently. Understand it clearly. The hunger, thirst, external safety and security are objective problems. Worry, suffering, grief, unhappiness, anxiety are subjective problems. Hunger, you're hungry, you eat food, food from outside, objective problems. External safety, you have cameras all around your home, external safety. I don't have a, well, let me what comes from outside? What problems can be solved from outside are objective problems. Where is pain, anxiety, duality, conflict? Inside the mind. They are subjective problems. So it means two ways to look at the problems in the suffering. One set of problems in the suffering can be solved by outer means. But there are other problems which cannot be solved by the outer means. You're anxious, you're scared, that is living in your mind. So we have to do something within, not outside. No one can eat and drink for me. They can offer the drink and the food to me, but I have to eat it myself. Do you see that? We go to the party, we get upset, and we get upset due to the host, and then we say, I'm not eating. You're harming yourself. Eat whatever you like, even if you're upset with someone. That has nothing to do with the eating. You see, we invite the anxiety and upset for unknown reasons. So the subjective problems of insecurity, of unhappiness, of dissatisfaction, they are subjective problems. It does not need anything from outside. I have to understand my mind. I have to take over the mind by the intellect. I have to do the practice. I have to bring about the change in my mind, behavior, and attitude, and the life is set. Don't forget about the four goals, three goals in life, and one goal of life. That is why our master says we should be 100% clear who we are. If I know who am I and who am I not, that sense of anxiety, duality, insecurity, fear do not follow me, or I do not follow them. No, I understand. What we understand is a mixed understanding, confused understanding, delusional understanding. So we have to think. I invited my friend for a party, and that guy criticizes. I did my best, but he criticizes. It may be his nature. Why should I get upset? Why should I argue? Why should I enter into anxiety? Very good. Your perception, I agree with you. My perception, that I did my best. So I'm giving a chance to the intellect to work on the mind, not to get carried away. So now let us understand the goals in life first. One thing is very clear, that we cannot live. A sensible human being, a minimum sense, common sense is required. So any person with a common sense cannot live without making an effort. Or means that person may be doing something. When we have people with substance abuse, we have people who are extremely lazy, we have people who are obsessed with something, they don't want to do anything. So first thing, that we want to make an effort. Uh, a human being with a common sense always like to work. People were asking me when you are going to retire. I said, why should I retire? Retire means what? Do you mean to say I should die voluntarily? That is the meaning of retirement. You cannot leave working. No, retirement from the work. What do you mean? Can you retire from taking food, sleeping, waking? So why not keep your mind engaged in what you are doing? So the goals in life are changing. Effort is there, pleasure is there, and we follow the rules. Three goals in life. So first is making an effort. So when you make an effort, you're doing a morning walk and you return. You're happy. You get some pleasure that I did it. So every effort should lead to a kind of a pleasure. But that effort in seeking pleasure or receiving pleasure or getting pleasure or enjoying outer life should be organized, should be rule based. Car is coming and I enter into the middle of the road. Oh no, I'm doing a morning walk. No, that will not. A common sense we should apply the common sense. In making an effort, one, having a pleasure, two, and these two should follow a rule. Common sense we should apply. Common sense should be applied by the intellect, by understanding. Because we depend, for these three goals in life, we depend on the world outside. But fourth goal of life, we are independent of the world outside. Peace is within me, happiness is within. We should be very clear. Can I summarize? Yes. Can I work in peace and happiness and wisdom? Can I eat in peace, happiness, and wisdom? Can I sleep in peace, happiness, and wisdom? Can I take care of the pet in peace, happiness, and wisdom? Can I communicate in peace, happiness, and wisdom? You see? So the fourth is the goal of life, should that permeates all the three goals in life. That is the only thing required to have a freedom from anxiety, freedom from the delusion, freedom from the pain and the suffering. Are you getting it? Because every effort, every job, or any activity has a starting and a finishing point, and I'm looking for a permanent peace and happiness 24/7. So we categorize them. These are the goals in life, and this is the goal of life. So when we say the goal of life, it should remain 24/7. So I start thinking, can I do this activity? Can I work at my workplace in peace and happiness? Can I eat food with peace and happiness? Can I talk in peace and happiness? But if my nature is unhappiness and the person outside is a wonderful, I will continue to be unhappy. I will not be satisfied. I'll have a sense of insecurity. Then what happens when we forget that the peace and happiness are within? Then I start searching, superimposing peace and happiness at work, in relations, in food. We should ask as many questions as possible. Let me make it clear first. There is a sense of unhappiness inside, and I'm eating the food that I always liked. That food is not giving me a taste, that food is not giving me a pleasure. Are you understanding? I feel a sense of anxiety and I have gone to work. I could see the entire workplace is full of anxiety. Both are required. Demands an awareness. Higher level of awareness comes by regular practice of meditation and understanding these principles. Human being, we human being, we cannot live without effort and action. We cannot, even after the laziest man wakes up, maybe after 3 days, if you say so. And the human being cannot have a luxury not knowing the permanent peace and happiness. We don't have a choice. Mind is constantly looking for peace and happiness. So Eastern wisdom declares the fourth goal of life is self-discovery. You can discover peace and happiness within. And our masters declare that continue working, some activity, continue enjoying the pleasure of life. rule based. Rule based so that we should not fall down into impulsive and instinctive and sensual activities. What it means? It means the higher self awareness. How you will get the higher self awareness? Regular listening, contemplation, plus practice. One liner, mind is blind. So whether the mind makes the intellect also blind or the intellect takes over the mind, you see that why it is happening, why I'm, why. Since our childhood, animal cubs and the babies are born, they become independent instantly. A cub is born, stands up in few minutes and starts sucking the milk. But for me, my mother helped me. I did not search for the milk as a human baby. Why? Because I had to make an effort to learn, to have a knowledge. So I have a thirst for the knowledge. So existence has created human being to have an effort to search the knowledge, to make the right effort in a right direction, to live a life of harmony, peace, and happiness at personal, professional, social level. That is what we are doing. To higher the self awareness. Since childhood, we depended on the mother who offered the milk. We grew, we played with the toys to learn again, to be happy. Then parents gave us storybooks we enjoyed. And now we are playing, younger generation is playing with the phone. Then there is an emotional and physiological changes. All our affairs were directed outside in the world, seeking food, clothes, toys, wealth, relationship to remove unhappiness, dissatisfaction, insecurity. In the beginning, it was right. But once we become an adult, we have to learn. We should keep the three goals in life. We should have one goal of life. Just count four desires: desire to make an effort, desire to have a pleasure, desire we should follow the rules of the life. Life should be organized. That is what people talk about, ethics. And the fourth goal of life is to discover peace and happiness. So until we discover and awaken to peace and happiness, we should not rest. First effort, first desire, first goal in life. Making an effort. So when I make a right effort, reward will be given to me. Less or more, that's different. That's a totally different. Some people are earning, Bill Gates, billions of dollars. You, thousands of dollars. I, hundreds of dollars. So the goal in life first is to means why we should earn, to have a physical security. What is that physical security? To pay the bills, to live in a house, to have a clothes, to have food. The real human being is one who is independent. That's what you push devil all the time. No? Do this. Become independent. You have no other intention. Security, physical security, by making an effort in reward, we get the wealth. So we use the wealth in food, in house, in clothes, in vacation. So ultimately, it gives me some sensory satisfaction. Satisfaction to the senses, sense of touch, sense of taste, a sense of sight, eating different food, vacation, music are all sensory pleasures. Second goal, the third goal. Third goal, the intellect keeps a check that we should not get obsessed with any pleasure outside. It will harm. It will cause too much of pain. It will cause too much of suffering. To earn money for happiness is one thing, but to get obsessed with something in the world is harmful. So, this third goal of life, it is available everywhere. People go to religious places, they pray to God, they have a certain level of morality and ethics. I say rule based. Life is organized. That whatever I am doing, whatever the pleasures I am enjoying, it is rule based. I should not fall into a kind of an obsession. I should not fall into a kind of delusion, so that I remain as a integral part of the society, so that I do not harm the society, and I should remain aware of the ethics and morality. Another part, the third goal, life should be organized, means that who wants wealth plus disease? Who want pleasure with an anxiety? No one. So because we are not organized, we are not clear, so we have, our master says, the third goal in life. Secret now. Tell me, is the wealth a mean or the goal? Wealth is a means to buy food and possessions, to buy clothes, to have a physical security. But if the wealth is the goal, not the means, then we suffer. The first three goals are the means, they are not the goals. Goal of life is only one. Initially, we had millions of desires. We grouped those desires into four categories. First three are goals in life. So, why I said goals in life? They are the means. They are not the end. If I make the wealth as an end to be happy, I can never be happy. That's what I give an example of Bill Gates, who has $127 billion. And in an interview, he said that I lived loveless life for 27 years. So his $127 billion could not achieve love. Where even, because when we do not understand and classify clearly in our head, and then we work accordingly, our master says that even the genius become insane. Then because we make the excellent means as an end of our life. That is the source of all anxiety, stress, duality, confusion. If you do not understand, tell me, write it down. If you make the first three goals in life as a goal of life, you will remain always busy, fully busy, always reacting, always anxious, always have one problem or the other, every day, disturbed sleep, sense of loneliness, conflict, and confusion. Think, contemplate. Tell me it is not. I'll make it clear. All the three goals in life are basically the means. That's why I am saying goals in life. You make them excellent means. But if you make them excellent goals, insecurity, fear, frustration, we'll forget our essential nature. We'll never find our real self. Means are the worst goals of life. Will cause the three diseases: sense of delusion and obsession and suffering. It's a mental COVID virus. It creates millions of variants. And because it creates millions of variants, it will return again and again to your mind. Will cause anxiety, duality. We should. So we are constantly contemplating and reflecting. Am I happy with the external riches? No. Ultimate happiness I have to discover within, and that is independent of anything outside. That is me. That is real self. Otherwise, what happens? The mind starts living a life of ego, delusion, anxiety, duality, and a conflict. To have a big home is one thing, to be happy with the home is totally another. To be married is one thing, but to have a happy marriage is another. To have a beautiful body, healthy body is one thing. No, to have a beautiful body is one thing, but to have a healthy body is totally another. Send me at least 10 different ways you explain the goals in life and goals of life. I gave you three examples. To have a big home is one thing, but to have a happy home is totally another. To be single or married is one thing, but to be happy as a single or married is totally another. To have a beautiful body is one thing, but to have a healthy body is totally another. Means and. I explained you. And another reason is that there is no objective solution to the subjective problem. Can anything in the world, $1 billion, wonderful clothes, anything in the world cannot remove my sense of unhappiness? Objective, subjective. No objective solution of my subjective problem. Peace is already within me. Happiness is already within me. I have to find that. Contemplate and reflect on these four goals of life and see. Make it clear. Start living your life after listening with these four. Three goals in life. They are the excellent means. Don't make them the end. They are the means to an end. And to what is an end? To discover permanent peace and happiness.